my honeyberry are doing well this year, putting on a lot of green growth, and they've actually got a couple of fruit on them, so I'm looking forward to trying those.
And this behind me is our cattail pond that is a pretty shallow pond, and it was, I think, originally used for irrigating livestock, but now it's just a aesthetic feature in our landscape, and every year it fills up with duckweed, like basically this floating plant that floats on the surface makes it all green. We do have some of our like wastewater that, you know, percolates its way into this pond, which might make it have, you know, high phosphate or high nitrogen rates, which causes plants to grow, and the duckweed does well, but it makes a good chicken feed, so you can go through and harvest it. And I haven't done that because I haven't been raising chickens lately, but I have in the past, and I would supplement it. It was about half their feed. It's pretty good stuff. And this is the Dancing Rabbit Orchard, which we used to have a lot of peach trees in when I first moved here, but the peach trees have kind of died off of disease and various things. This is an Asian pear, and Asian pears do really well here. I think they probably do really well everywhere. They don't get disease, they don't really get bugs in them, and they produce tons, abundant fruit every year. So these have gotten well established. This is a huge tree, and it is loaded with fruit every year. I think they're really delicious. They're kind of like a crispy, super sweet, candy-like fruit. And you can dehydrate them, you can eat them out of hand. Just so many ways that you can use them. But in the last couple of years, I've planted these apples. We collected money and got donations from people here to buy some more apple trees and to replace the peach trees that had been dying. And so that's what we're doing. Maybe the apples will be more long-lived and have more use here. So the peach trees, even though, you know, they survived for at least a while and they would produce fruit every year pretty much, they would get brown rot and just rot on the tree before they even ripened, and it's basically pointless to try to grow them organically here. So that's why we're replacing them with these apple trees. And I got varieties that are resistant to fire blight, which is a disease that can really kill off both pears and apples here. And that's why that pear tree looks like it does, because it got fire blight on some of its branches and had to be totally cut down. This is one of the sugar pears. Can't remember what that one's called, but it's like they have small, super sweet pears on them, and then these two others here are just more Asian pears. This over here is an apple, and I think it's called Early Harvest, that I planted several years ago here. And I don't think it was fire blight resistant, so it is dead now. It's produced some apples, but yeah, it's dead. This is a wild persimmon tree that was actually planted by us, so it's not that wild, but I think these are little flower buds here, and can't remember when the tree will bloom, but I'm guessing that these are just about to open. I might come back and look at them, but we have a few of these in here, and they've fruited the last couple of years, and they have a small persimmon that's can be really astringent. But if you get a good one that's been properly bledded, meaning you like wait until it basically sits off the tree for a long time and gets really soft, they taste delicious. But they always have that possibility of being super astringent. And this is, of course, the Tartarian honeysuckle, which has a beautiful smell, but is incredibly invasive. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Mostly it's not something that you want around. I think it does provide food for wildlife, but this is one of the big fruits that grows around here, which is mulberry. And I showed you those mulberries that I got, the Turkish mulberries in Florida. These ones are not as big, but they're pretty delicious. And they just are like a weed tree here. They just grow everywhere. You can't get them to stop growing because they produce so much fruit. And they'll produce fruit and it ripens throughout the season. I mean, pretty much you have to go to, like, I think mid to the end of July before they stop having fruit. We also have black raspberries and blackberries here. There's some other local fruits that we'll harvest. It's just like a perfect day today. It's just like nice and cool. There's a little breeze. Just a perfect day to be outside.
We have a few hardy pecans that were planted in the orchard, and they're getting to a pretty good size now, but I have no idea when they're going to start fruiting. They make such great shade trees, and then they just produce abundant nuts. So I'm looking forward to the time when they start producing. There's a couple other ones elsewhere in the village, but most of them are right here in this orchard. Alright, well, please subscribe to my channel and share and like the video, and I'll see you next time.